Hello again, everyone. This is Mr. Owen. Today we're going to be doing a tour through Egyptian fashion and cosmetics as we look at some of the finer aspects of ancient Egyptian life. So let's get started.
Welcome to Ancient Egyptian Fashions.
So you see here we're starting this little market or bazaar type area. Multiple craftsmen that are plying their wares and opening them for trade.
Learning what life was like for ancient Egyptians presents many differences, and yet also surprising similarities to how people might live today. Understanding the daily lives of regular citizens so many thousands of years ago is ultimately what connects us as human beings.
So you can see here a couple of stone obelisks with hieroglyphs all over them. Very important, both symbol and form of writing in ancient Egypt. And an idea that we borrowed from them when we constructed the Washington Monument to honor one of our great ancestors, George Washington. So you see throughout here multiple sculptures and looks like various fruits and vegetables being offered for sale.
Jewelry was a popular item among ancient Egyptians of all social standing. Both men and women wore earrings, rings, and bracelets. Status determined how much jewelry a person wore and what it was made of. Common folk wore pearl necklaces, simple bracelets, and leather bangles. Brightly colored earthenware and glass paste were a favorite enhancement.
And just like today, status and wealth, you can afford a Rolex watch versus a Timex watch that you pick up at Walmart.
The jewelry of the elite was made from gold, silver, and other precious stones. Because gold never lost its shine, it was considered akin to the flesh of the gods. Wide jeweled collars were a favorite. Made with rows of beads formed into patterns of animals or flowers, the soft chiming sounds they made were thought to appease the gods.
You can see there all that kind of hanging different formations of jewelry would certainly make a sound as you walked around wearing it.
Though idealized, tomb paintings are a catalog of the changing fashions of ancient Egypt from the Old to the New Kingdom. Egyptians took appearance and cleanliness very seriously and were diligent about their fashion, hair, and jewelry as well as their grooming habits.
So we get this picture of ancient people living a more dirty and unhealthy life, but not so true in Egypt. They were very meticulous about making sure they were well groomed, they stayed clean, and as well as they looked presentable with fashion and jewelry.
The fabric of ancient Egyptian clothing was almost entirely made from various grades of linen. Linen was commonly white, draped over the body, and cinched at the waist, though some garments were sewn or tailored. Wealthy men wore long tunics, loincloths, or kilts, while poor men only wore loincloths. Women wore long dresses, with differences residing in the quality of the fabric, depending on social status. Egyptians commonly went barefoot, but could also wear sandals made from papyrus fiber or leather.
So just as today, the more wealth and status you have, the finer clothes you can afford. Though, you can see a lot of them going barefoot here, because if you're walking across sand and in desert areas, barefoot's not too bad of an option. Just like most people go barefoot when they go to the beach.
Cosmetics, including concoctions to prevent body odor and bad breath, were an integral part of everyday life for Egyptians. Used by both men and women, cosmetics were used as moisturizing ointments and sun protection as much as for beautification. Red ochre, a natural clay, was the most readily available cosmetic to tint lips and cheeks. Henna was used on nails and lips, and as hair coloring. It was also favored by richer women to decorate their palms and the soles of their feet.
So they had ancient sunblock and ancient moisturizers and deodorant and mouthwash and even hair coloring and blush and lipstick. All ancient equivalents within Egypt.
Egyptians believed kohl had magical powers, wearing it as black eyeliner to protect their eyes from the sun and to prevent eye infections from particles in the flooded Nile River. A special green kohl, made from ground malachite, was worn for ceremonies and religious rituals.
So we see this very common as you look at all of them, this kind of black-looking eyeliner that they're all wearing. That had both a cosmetic but also practical purpose to help shade them from the sunlight.
Women and teenage girls wore their hair long and often braided. Wealthier women included carved combs or hairpins. The length of men's hair rarely dropped past the shoulders. They were mostly clean-shaven during the dynastic period, a trend began by the elite and soon adopted by the general populace. Queen Hatshepsut donned an artificial beard when she became pharaoh.
So this idea of looking like a pharaoh, looking godly, Queen Hatshepsut kind of followed that and donned a beard herself because so many previous pharaohs had that appearance.
Wigs were very popular, used for special occasions or to conceal gray hair or baldness. They were fastened in place with beeswax. The most expensive wigs were made from human hair and reserved for royalty. Other wigs were composed of linen, wool, or animal hair.
Just like today, people try to cover up their graying hair or their baldness with artificial hair or artificial coloring. Same for ancient Egyptians.
Prepubescent children generally had their heads shaved. Young girls kept some strands intact, while young boys had a braid worn on the side.
That's why you see a lot of depictions of ancient Egyptian children all being bald, just because it was the style that they wore their hair in. We'll take a quick look around. You can see the temple complex here, which we could explore at a different time, talk about ancient Egyptian religion and ceremonies. Including mummification, which we'll probably do at a later point. But you can see along the Nile here, all the settlements, and then the great deserts beyond. And then there's the city of Alexandria and the lighthouse of Alexandria. Again, was something we'll cover when we get to Rome and Alexander the Great, who named the city after himself. Well, thank you all for taking this tour today. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you all later.